Welcome to the Michigan Department of Education 21st Century Community Learning Center's Technical Assistance Workshop presented on February 11, 2019. This webinar is being recorded and will be available for viewing later this week. All participants are being muted. There will be an opportunity for questions and answers at the end. Questions may be entered in the chat box to organizers during the webinar. Please note the slide number or numbers when entering questions. The 21st Century Community Learning Center's grants focus is to provide expanded academic enrichment opportunities for children attending schools with the most challenging environments. Expanded learning activities are designed to help students meet local and state academic standards in subjects such as reading and math. In addition, 21st Century Community Learning Center's programs provide youth development activities, drug and violence prevention programs, technology education programs, art, music, counseling, and recreation programs to enhance the academic component of the program. 21st Century Community Learning Center's grants are dependent on federal funding allocations to the state. The federal fiscal year 2020 budget has not yet been approved. Even if the budget for 21st Century Community Learning Centers stays the same, the formula that will determine each state's allocations for school year 1920 may impact Michigan's funding amount. Michigan Department of Education may not know the exact funding allocation until June. The 2019-2020 application information can be found on the Michigan Department of Education's 21st Century Community Learning Center's website at www.michigan.gov/21st-CCLC. A frequently asked questions document will also be posted on the website. 21st Century Community Learning Center's basics. The Michigan Department of Education's 21st Century Community Learning Centers program is funded through the Every Student Succeeds Act, Title IV, Part B. A small percentage of allocation received is used for state administration and technical assistance activities. The current competition will be highly competitive. Michigan anticipates receiving approximately $35 million in federal fiscal year 2020. It is anticipated that there will be $20 million for new grants under Cohort L. There will be $13 million used for continuation of Cohort J and K grants. Michigan Department of Education receives approximately 100 applications for each cohort. The current funding projections will allow for up to 150 sites funded at $135,000 each. This means Michigan Department of Education may award only 30 grants if each awarded grant proposes services to 5 sites. This grant is consistent with the Michigan State Board of Education's guiding principles and strategic goals for Top 10 and 10. For information on Michigan's Top 10 and 10, go to www.michigan.gov/MDE. 21st Century Community Learning Centers Basics continued. The initial year for Cohort L will be from July 1st, 2019 through June 30th, 2020. The continuation years and the next round are contingent on federal funding. Cohort M would be in 2021 to 2022. The Michigan Department of Education receives official notification of funding amounts in July each year. The target population is schools implementing targeted and comprehensive supports and schools with students at risk of academic failure, dropout, criminal activities, and lack of positive role models. Target population, as defined in the Every Student Succeeds Act, is basically serving students in challenging environments that are struggling with success. Note that the 21st Century Community Learning Centers grant is intended for the schools and students with the highest need in the state. 21st Century Community Learning Centers purposes. The federal priorities are academic enrichment, tutorial services, offering a broad array of additional services, and federal targets. Target performance measures have been determined by the United States Department of Education and are listed in the application instructions. These targets are subject to change as implementation and guidance for the Every Student Succeeds Act is released from the United States Department of Education. 21st Century Community Learning Centers purposes: additional student services. A well-rounded, comprehensive program would include all or most of the following activities: youth development, service learning, nutrition and health education, drug and violence prevention, counseling, arts and music, physical fitness and wellness, math and science, career and technical education, financial literacy, environmental literacy, and internship and apprenticeship programs. 21st Century Community Learning Centers purposes: services to families should include literacy and educational development, technology education, and engagement opportunities. Services to families goes beyond once-a-month family night. Michigan's 21st Century Community Learning Centers partner with the David P. Weichert Center for Youth Investment, Technical Assistance, Coaching Support Services. Weichert has developed a family engagement project that is designed for use in 21st Century Community Learning Centers programs that is offered through the EduPath Professional Development Portal at www.edupaths.org. Michigan 21st Century Community Learning Centers has also developed a family engagement guide that may offer program support. Email 21stcclc@michigan.gov for a copy. Eligible applicants. Local education agencies, or LEAs, include local school districts, intermediate school districts, or regional education service districts, and public school academies or charter schools. Community-based organizations include faith-based organizations. Other public or private organizations such as colleges and universities or local government agencies. A consortia or partnerships of any of the above. The target population is determined by the school the students are attending. Eligible applicants continued. Up to 3 grants per applicant with a maximum of 5 sites each may be awarded. This is always subject to funding availability. These funds are intended to supplement, but not supplant, local, state, or federal funds. Current grantees need to note that non-duplication of effort means applicants may not apply to serve schools that are already funded by a 21st Century Community Learning Centers grant for after-school or local funds for after-school programming. Sites that are already funded in Cohort J and K may not apply for additional funds. Previous cohorts may apply to serve schools whose funding has ended. Cohort I sunsetting grants may apply again for the same sites currently being funded. Funding per site is based on the building code for the school to be served. Different groups of students does not refer to different grade levels from the same school. The funding range for the grant is a minimum award of $50,000 per year. A maximum grant award is $135,000 per site. Apply for only the amount of funds that your organization is capable of expending. The minimum requirements for program are 4 days per week for 2.5 hours per day for 32 weeks during the school year. Additionally, there are 6 weeks of summer programming required by the grant. The total must be at least 38 weeks. Please note the hours and weeks required are minimum. More is better. Remember, this is a reimbursement program. The fiscal agent must have the capacity to pay out expenditures before requesting funds. Reimbursement of funds is not immediate. Funding limits for the grant are based on site attendance projections. These are $85,000 per site serving at least 11 students, $110,000 per site serving at least 21 students, or $135,000 per site, serving at least 31 students. The focus is on quality programming. Request funds for the number of students that the program will actually be able to recruit and serve for at least 30 days each. Do not expect to have unlimited resources or to enroll every student in the school. Failure to meet attendance criteria may result in reduction or loss of funds. Application review process. A peer review process is utilized by the Michigan Department of Education. Persons choosing not to apply may wish to apply to review applications. This is a good way to learn about the requirements needed to write a successful application. There will be 3 reviewers independently scoring each application. These reviewers are trained and enter scores into an online system. Persons involved in the development of a proposal or associated with a district or agency submitting a proposal may not serve as peer reviewers. The applications are scored according to the rubrics that are located directly above the space to complete information in each section of the application. The maximum score is 131 points, 102 possible points for the application, and 29 possible priority points. Priority points are scored according to the quantitative data in the Michigan Department of Education's Application Priority Data File. No additional data is used to score this section. Reviewers do not score this data. Application review process continued. Applications are awarded funding in rank order according to score. Carefully review all of the application instructions and rubrics. The following additional factors may apply: duplication of effort, duplication of funding, superintendent priorities, geographical distribution, evidence of previous successful grantee performance, and reduced federal funding. Superintendent priorities may be used in the event of a tie score. Application priority. The Michigan Department of Education Application Priority Data File will be posted on www.michigan.gov/21st CCLC. The link to the data file is also in the Grant Electronic Monitoring System Basic Information document. See tab 1 for instructions and information about using alternate school data for determining priority points. Priority points will be crucial in the determination of funded programs. Applicants should review possible priority points before beginning the application. If there are 0 or low priority points, applicants may want to adjust the target population and schools to be served. Application access. A Michigan Education Information System account is required. This is a free account. Current users can log in with their account information. New users can create an account at https://mdoe.state.mi.us/login.aspx. Access is granted to one person only per agency. Access to the proposal is online only through the Grant Electronic Monitoring System. All applicants must have and utilize a Michigan Education Information System account in order to apply for this grant. The person granted access is the individual completing the grant application. Be sure that the email address affiliated with the Michigan Education Information System account is accurate. Intent to apply. The intent to apply will be available from February 12th through February 28th, 2019 at www.michigan.gov/21st CCLC. A Michigan Education Information System account login and password is required to complete the intent to apply. Complete one intent to apply per applicant. Multiple proposals must be requested within a single intent to apply by listing multiple application names. Multiple proposals will result in greater competition for funds. Applicants will be competing against themselves. Each application should be uniquely named. One agency or applicant receives account access to the grant application. The applicant is the fiscal agent. The legal name of the applicant must be used. Online application access. Access to the application will be granted on March 13, 2019 to those that have completed the required intent to apply prior to February 28, 2019. The Grant Electronic Monitoring System will send an email to the account associated with the Michigan Education Information System account that was used for the intent to apply. Instructions for access to the application will be included in this email. Only the online application submitted through the Grant Electronic Monitoring System will be accepted for consideration for funding. Do not send any additional information or documentation. Only attachments that are requested within this application will be reviewed. The target population, based on the schools to be served, will define how applicants should address each section of this proposal. It is very important to read the application thoroughly. Online application completion. Open each section of the application in the document list. Complete each section and save often. If you exit a section without saving, it may be lost. All form boxes have character limits. Only documents requested to be uploaded will be reviewed. Do not upload any additional information. Reviewers will only evaluate the files requested. No charts or graphs may be used in the application. The applicant will not be able to import charts or graphs into any of the sections of the application. Application documents A to C. Document A, basic information. This section outlines grant requirements and priority point information. Document B, application information tool. Please remember to use the legal name of the applicant and verify the email of the authorized official. Document C, main contact information. Make sure the contact person is someone who knows and understands the application, not necessarily the authorized official of the organization. Application documents D to F. Document D, co-applicant information. A co-applicant is a district or agency, not the fiscal agent, that is a true partner on the application and shares decision-making responsibilities. Document E, site information. No more than 5 sites may be funded per application. In most cases, the site is the school. However, in a few cases, a site may serve multiple schools. Be sure to list all schools to be served at each site. Document F, schools to be served. Accurate district codes and building codes are essential. All schools listed will be tallied when application priority is calculated. Alternate school information must be accurately listed for Michigan Department of Education to consider that school in the priority score. As a reminder, see the Michigan Department of Education Application Priority Data File, Tab 1, for instructions and information about using alternate school data for determining priority points. Collaborative Advisory Committee, new for the 2019-2020 application. This section replaces letters of support. Download the template for the Collaborative Advisory Committee form, Document G, within the application. An applicant must hold a meeting with Collaborative Advisory Committee members prior to submitting the application. Upload the Collaborative Advisory Committee form and agenda as one PDF document. Do not upload any additional documents. Application Documents G to I. Document G, Collaborative Advisory Committee. This was covered in the previous slide. As a reminder, this is a new section for 2019-2020. Document H, School Building Verification. As with the Collaborative Advisory Committee form, download the School Building Verification template for each school to be served. Signatures of the superintendent or authorized official and the building principal are required on each form. Combine all forms to upload as one PDF. Document I, Project Abstract. This section summarizes to the reviewers the program plan. It is often best to write this section last to summarize the whole project after the rest of the application is complete. The project abstract may be copied to represent the application to the public. Application Documents J to L. Document J, Assessment of Need. This section should be written clearly and concisely. Don't assume reviewers know anything about the program or community. Applicants should consider appropriate data sources and be sure to explain briefly how this data was obtained. Document K, Quality of Project Model. This is the heart of the application. Quality is the key to high-scoring applications. It is important to address the rubrics completely. Make sure to address bulleted topics in the instructions as well. Numbers, titles, and paragraphs help reviewers to see what is being emphasized. No charts or graphs may be used. Document L, Facility Description. Programs servicing any student 12 years old or younger must be licensed by the Bureau of Child Care and Adult Licensing. Sites that are not currently licensed for school-age care will need to provide documentation that the application process has begun. Licensing information may be found on the licensing webpage, www.michigan.gov/MI-Childcare. High school sites should enter 0 in the license number section. All applicants must detail a transportation plan addressing how students will get to or from the program. Application Documents M to O. Document M, Program Personnel. A full-time project director is required. If the application is for more than one site, then a full-time site coordinator is also required for each site. Site coordinators need to meet the requirements of a school-age program director in child care licensing rules. Staff ratios are based on the Michigan Out-of-School Time Standards of Quality. Document N, Professional Development. An individual professional development plan for all staff should be addressed. A minimum of 16 hours of professional development per year for all staff is required. Professional development should align with the National After-School Association core knowledge and competencies for after-school and youth development professionals. Michigan Department of Education expects targeted professional development for continuous professional growth and program improvement. Document O, Program Management. Applicants will coordinate with partners, vendors, and volunteers. It is important to align with the school day program and curriculum, targeting the needs of the students being served. All staff should receive a minimum of 8 hours of comprehensive orientation before working directly with students. Application documents P to R. Document P, evaluation of the project. Michigan 21st Century Community Learning Centers has the reputation for having a high-quality evaluation system. All sites will be required to enter student-level data regarding demographics and participation information into the Easy Reports system. There is a cost associated with Easy Reports which must be budgeted. It is currently $750 per year per site. Document Q, Project Plan, Federal Target Goals. The applicant must describe activities, tasks, and staff that will align the local program with federal targets. Note that the current federal targets may change with new federal goals under the Every Student Succeeds Act. Document R, Project Plan, Local Goals. Each application may list up to 5 local project goals. Goals need to describe objectives and anticipated outcomes, strong measurement strategies, and specific activities, tasks, and staff needed. Application documents S to U. Document S, Sustainability Plan. Address how the proposed program will continue if the federal funding ends. Describe any additional sources of funding. Plan to maximize and coordinate all funding streams. Document T, Budget. Be sure the commitments made in the proposed project are reflected in a reasonable budget. Descriptions of expenditures must detail each entry. Local contributions, including projected income from other sources that will be used for this project, should be entered as local agency share. Descriptions of expenditures of local agency share must indicate a source of funding. Amounts entered will be calculated at the bottom of the budget form. Local agency share will be calculated separately. Ask for the funds in full dollar amounts. Reviewers will be screening for high-quality proposals that will be funding high-quality programming. Document U, Assurances and Certifications. Please note specific program assurances for this grant. Remember, it is required to implement all of the components included in this application. A grant is a contract, not a gift. Application documents V to W. Document V, Co-Applicant Agreement Approval. A co-applicant is recommended but not required. Priority is given to co-applicants that are local education agencies and community-based organizations or faith-based organizations partnering with an entity that is not the same type as the applicant. The fiscal agent is signing this grant application as a contract with the Michigan Department of Education, if awarded, and is fully responsible for the implementation of the program and the federal funds. It is recommended that applicants have a memorandum of understanding between the applicant and co-applicants. Make sure to work out the agreement of roles and responsibilities prior to applying for the grant. Document W, Final Submission Approval. The applicant authorized official approves the completed application electronically via the email that was entered in the application information tool. Application information tips. Complete all text boxes. Changes to any of the pre-populated fields later in the application will change all the pages. Be sure the information entered is accurate and correct. Legal names and titles must be used for applicant, co-applicant, and school information. Save throughout the application so information is not accidentally lost. Application submission, step 1. Read the entire application before clicking submit. Once this is submitted, no more edits are allowed. Save the form. Go back to the document list and click submit. Next, go back to home and click on the new task. After clicking on the new task, open document V. Complete the information requested or leave blank if there is no co-applicant. Save. If there is no co-applicant, move to step 2. If there is a co-applicant agreement, send out co-applicant agreement approval. Wait for the approval. Application submission, step 2. Return to the grant electronic monitoring system and click the new submit button. Go back to home and click on the new task. Open document W and complete the required information. Click Save and send out for final approval. Wait for approval. Then move to step 3. Application submission, step 3. Return to the grant electronic monitoring system and click on the new submit button. A confirmation dialog box will indicate that the application was submitted. It may look like a caution box, so be sure to read the text. Hooray! The application is officially submitted. Where to obtain help. A frequently asked questions document will be posted on www.michigan.gov/21st CCLC. Contact MDE via email at 21stcclc@michigan.gov with any additional questions.